Hey guys, so I welcome you all. So in today's podcast, we're going to talk about organic and natural products and their importance in our society. In today's podcast, I'm introducing Colyer, and he has founded Maharohas, a company which creates natural tree leather wallets, jandals, iPhone cases, iPad covers and Kindle covers. So Cam, he lives his life in harmony with nature, and he's a promoter of organic farming, organic products. For those of you who don't know what jandals are, it's sandals. It's a Kiwi slang for sandals, and the word has originated from Japanese plus sandals, which is jandals. Yeah, I know. So in this podcast, Cam is sharing his story why he turned vegan, how he started Maharohas, and advice to people who wants to start organic product chain. So without wasting any time, we'll start with a conversation with Colyer, founder of Maharohas.
Brainstorm with Rish.
So my name is Rishabh, and today we are in Auckland Domain, and there's pretty good sunlight here, and we came to recharge ourselves, heal ourselves. And today with me is my very good friend in New Zealand, Cameroon, Akka Cam. So I know Cam from like 3 years, 2.5.
Going on 3. Yeah.
So we started working together in a yoga lounge where we do some service, and we started doing dishes. I have done maybe like dishes with Cam for 2 years. So yeah, that's how I know him. But Cam is also running a company called Maharohas, and this company is creating some natural leather wallets and jandals. So Cam, just want to ask you why you started Maharohas.
So I took birth, took birth or forced to take birth in South Africa.
Yeah.
My family immigrated to New Zealand in 1997. I was 5 years old at the time. So I've grown up in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I'm interested in spirituality, philosophy, just the diversity of existence and creation. And we have a helicopter friend. And yeah, it's been an interesting journey so far. I've studied massage therapy. I tried university. I couldn't really stick it out. I didn't feel like the knowledge was really what I was seeking.
Yeah.
My grandma, my granddad were very spiritual and very pious. And I think by their association, questioning them and having their association when I was young, it really left an imprint and a mark, and it really kind of touched and moved and inspired me. And so I've always been curious, seeking, wanting to understand, wanting to comprehend, and wanting to live a life that is as beneficial and positive for myself and others and for the rest of life, which includes all of nature. And I've found in various spiritual scriptures and teachings and lifestyles, cultures, philosophies, that's all wrapped up and included.
Yeah.
And so that's part of my journey into my entrepreneurship. I was studying massage therapy in Hastings.
Yeah.
And I had some jandals and they broke, and I like to fix things if I can so it's less pollution, and I couldn't really fix it. And I thought, here's one more item that I've consumed, one more product that I've consumed,
Yeah.
and that when it's broken I just put in the bin, but I know that just goes back to Mother Earth. That just gets put in a hole somewhere,
Yeah.
or ending up in some third world country. And I know we can do things differently, we can do things better.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what, my next pair of jandals, I'm going to make them. So I set out researching a bit what natural materials are there, what would work, and trialed some prototypes with the help of a local cobbler. Ended up making some jandals, but they included, cow leather, and I didn't feel good about that back then, and still not ideally. Maybe if the cow has lived a natural life and had a natural death, and then its products, its body leftovers are used, but not in the current kind of way we're doing things, which is heavily exploitative. It's very cruel and causes a lot of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
So I started on the journey of developing a jandal, which has evolved over the years into a sandal, and this is where I'm at. And so this is 100% natural. So the sole is made out of crepe, pure tree rubber. The top part that looks like cow leather is actually a plant leather. It's made by a very innovative company in America. And that's 100% natural and full cycle, cyclically created. And all the hardware is all solid brass, which is infinitely recyclable. And so this is the culmination of staying true to the values and the principles that I wish to live my life by. And so it's not just about footwear or a sandal or a jandal that's more natural. It's about a whole way of being, a whole way of life, a whole way of relating and connecting with this world and the natural resources, and trying to live as harmonistically in harmony with the created nature, with the rest of life here. Our modern industries and stuff have, in the last couple of 100 years, have just exploded and
exploited.
And it's missing the mark for most people. It's not actually providing a deep connection, a soul satisfaction, a fulfillment. It's kind of this never-ending treadmill of like, what's the next thing that will try and fill the void in my heart, my soul. And I've found that at the heart of all of this is spirit, is truth, is the creator, is spirituality. Realizing who we truly are fundamentally, beyond material and bodily designations, and realizing what is true wealth. And from studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a Vedic encyclopedia, spiritual encyclopedia, it really affirmed what I'd come to value, which was the natural world, that like beautiful golden sunshine, clear air, fresh pure water, abundant life, and connection and relationship with people. And so it's a symbol and a vehicle for a whole way of being and a whole way of life. So it's very close to my heart.
I truly agree. Like, what a small idea which came into your mind that, oh, I want to make my own jandals, has became like into a company now. Like, you want to make it for other people. You want to spread the same message of harmony and being aligned with or close with the nature. And feeling the the natural elements. The leather which Cam is using in most of his products are made of natural, like tree leather. So that's very amazing when I got to know about it. So how this idea came in to make other products apart from the jandals?
So during the research and development, I saw the potential for the materials, the innovative materials that I was working with, the natural materials, and I saw, okay, these are, I've honed these out and selected these based on these amazing qualities of these natural materials. And then I, quickly realized these materials aren't just great for sandals or jandals. These materials exist, they're out there, and they have a far less impact, and they can produce so many of our essential goods and needs. And so it was just a natural kind of expansion from there, meeting people's daily kind of consumer product item needs, such as a wallet or a smartphone wallet, or some sandals, or a Kindle or iPad pouch, or a shoulder strap bag, and just kind of providing in my eyes, a less impactful option, because the real source of pollution, it actually stems from our own kind of uncontrolled desires and greed, where we're never satisfied, and we're always constantly seeking how to produce more, with less energy or in a more efficient or advanced way. But that narrow view of doing things doesn't actually take into account the ramifications, the consequences. So we'll often produce products and materials that are very polluting, both in their production and in the afterlife, once they're disposed of. And so I think that's a lack of connected awareness. How this is all, the earth is all of our homes. What we do to one another eventually returns and makes its way back to us. So if we pollute the earth, we end up eating from the soil that we have polluted. If we pollute the water, we end up swimming and drinking from the water we've polluted. Like, there's no way. It's all interrelated and interconnected. And that's a huge point. And if we can connect with what is natural and simple yet sublime, and be more filled up from that, there's less of a need to be exploited ourselves and be exploiting nature, producing so much turnover of polluting processes and end-of-life products, and a much more simpler, smoother, fulfilling way of life can be had. And I really stand for that.
So I also know that, like, you used to eat meat before, and because of these things, I think you got changed to vegetarian. Now you went vegan, and then now you are vegetarian at the moment. So what happened, and can you tell the story?
So
I don't know the story.
To be frank, I was working at a burger fuel at the time. I had just dropped out of university, and I was trying to find my way through life, trying to connect with what my heart, myself as a soul, as a spirit, really knows to be wholesome and good. And I was working there, eating meat, eating the burgers, and so eating chicken and beef and pig, pork. And my brother had told me of this medicine, which is a type of mushroom that grows around the world. And so I was quite curious. I was deeply seeking, because I had lost one of my best friends in high school and some other friends in a car crash. So I was really seeking, what is the meaning of life? So actually, when I was born, I was extremely sick as an infant, and my parents took me to all the doctors and the specialists and the experts, and they were all saying different things and giving me different medicines and treatments, and none of them really got to the heart or the root of the matter, the cause of the matter. They were they were doing their best with the knowledge they had, but they heard about a man who had cured his cancer through natural means, and this man had a 6-month waiting list. And finally, when it was my turn, my parents took me to this man, and he took kind of one look at me and my symptoms, and he said, take him off refined sugar and processed refined foods, get him off of dairy, and see how he does. And so my parents did that, and my health just did a 180. It just completely transformed. So for whatever reason, my body is quite sensitive to things that aren't so natural or wholesome. And so that was really the beginning. So I was sick my parents forgot and let it slip. So I was sick most of my youth. And when I was around 14, I took my health into my own hands and I started researching and trialing and experimenting and studying nutrition, diet, health, well-being, and it was kind of one of those crucial moments in my life where I realized just because something is very popular or accepted or mainstream doesn't necessarily mean it's the best means or ways or knowledge. And so I vividly remember going to my doctor, and so when I was a teenager I had severely bad acne because my gut lining was kind of destroyed and my inflammation levels was off the chart. I was still unaware of what was healthy food, what was wholesome, less processed, more natural organic food, and my body was suffering and paying the consequences because of that. And so I remember going to my doctor and saying, you know, what about diet in regards to my acne, because I had severe acne at the time, and I remember he looked at me and he said, diet's got nothing to do with it. And then I realized, okay, you know, this world is a little bit off the mark, off the track, you know. And so I kept on researching, experimenting, studying, and I cleared up my acne completely. I went back for a blood test. My CRP levels, which is an inflammation marker, went from through the roof to non-existent. And so that was great personal empowering of an experience for me, and proof that this body is natural and organic. This body wasn't made in a factory or a lab. This body was made in the factory or the lab of Mother Nature, who's been doing her things for millions of years. And what she produces is very refined, elegant, whole, and in harmony.
True.
And so that was kind of that kind of led further into spirituality as well. Actually, that was one of the access and the gateways into spirituality.
And I also want to ask you what message you want to give to like young entrepreneurs or young people who want to start their own, you know, business, maybe in starting their own natural products line, something related to food, or you know, some usable items like what you were creating, or any other products. So what advice you want to give to them, like how they should start?
I would say it's very wise if you can seek out someone who has done what you're doing or is along the lines of what you're doing, so that they're aligned in the same values, etc. And seek out them as a mentor, because they will be able to help you so much faster than going through all the trials and errors and mistakes on your own.
And so what's the vision for Maharohas? What do you think, where you want to take Maharohas in the next couple of years?
I'm establishing it as one of the highest quality and most natural manufacturers, producers of accessories and footwear. That's the priority. And we're living in times where people are really becoming aware of their impact and their influence, and how every choice we make ripples out, echoes out, and affects the world. People, every time we buy a product, we're supporting that product and the whole backlog of what was required for that product to get there. So I'm just very, very grateful to be able to provide people a very high quality product to meet essential needs such as footwear, with as organic and naturally produced as possible, with as less impact. Because if you produce top quality products that last a long time, that means that it's going to last longer, so you're going to need you know, less purchases of that same item over time, which translates to less environmental pollution and exploitation, etc. And if it's as natural as possible, the earth can re-assimilate that a lot easier without it being taking hundreds of years to break down, or having toxic kind of chemicals and stuff being leached back into the earth. So that's where I'm at with it. Is I'm not in it for becoming extremely wealthy.
Yeah.
I'm in it to reach the hearts of people,
Yeah.
and to provide a better way, a better path, a better option, and to add to the growing collective of people who are creating businesses and products like this.
Yeah. You know, he said like you don't want to create the products for being wealthy, but there is no harm in doing like being wealthy, because unless and until you create the product, so either people will buy your product, which is more natural, or they will buy the products of people who are killing the animals and making it out of the leather of the animals. So if by using your product, if it's also a mode of goodness, and they are promoting the natural products, which is made out of vegan leather, so that's a good situation, a win-win situation for the company as well as for the environment.
Yeah.
So we need like more. I'm saying like we just need not you, but like more people like who can create like these kind of natural product outline. So not even in just jandals or sandals or wallets, but in other, like in clothing or in other areas.
100%. Yeah. And the more people that do, and the more people that support it,
Yeah.
we literally start to rearrange and reshift and shuffle like whole industries and stuff.
Yeah.
So if the people who are the consumers are more aware, and then if they really moved and realize their interconnection with things, then you'll want to take care of your body and the body of the earth and the environment. It's natural. When you are more connected you are to it, it's a side effect of connection. And so when enough people choose with their vote, with their money, their energy, their time, they can redirect entire industries and businesses, and that's very empowering and exciting.
I don't know why we feel like with the money, like people feel that if somebody is earning money, that's a bad thing. Like if you're doing something good and you're earning money, that's good. Like you're creating something valuable like in the society, plus you're not harming the environment. And if you are not going to earn the money with this market which you have created, so somebody else will make some bad product with exploiting the nature and exploiting the mother earth, and then they will create the product which will harm the society in the longer term, as well as they will earn money out of it. So why not we should do it? That should be the mindset maybe.
Yeah,
instead of thinking, we are making money.
yeah, totally. It's like, what if one's intent is purely money based, that's how we get a lot of the mess and the pollution and the exploitation, because we'll do anything for that. We'll exploit the resources of our Mother Earth, we'll exploit our fellow people. But if we come from an ethics or value driven why, and that is the heart and the nucleus of what we're doing it for, money is a byproduct. Money will come and feed it and grow it, because money is just like a currency of energy, people's energy. And so the key is, what are we doing with the energy, the resources, the opportunities available to us? How can we use things in a more harmoniously wholesome and mutually beneficial, net beneficial way? And I think that's deeply fulfilling on a soul level, because at the end of the day, none of it's truly ours. We're gifted and granted these bodies produced of the natural elements, produced of Mother Earth. When we depart, when our soul departs, these bodies return again, and it's almost like props on a stage. We don't actually own the props. And many indigenous cultures had the knowledge and the awareness that they're guardians. In Te Reo Māori from New Zealand, that's called kaitiaki. And if we're in that kind of consciousness, we're protectors and guardians instead of exploiters and abusers. And so that's a huge shift. That's a cultural, spiritual consciousness kind of shift. And I think when shifts happen closer to home, like in one's mind and heart and consciousness and awareness, then that's really where the magic is, because everything is external or downstream of that. So if you've had an experience that has really deeply touched you, and you realize how beautiful and grateful you are for creation, for nature, for the beauty of it, the diversity of it, then you will, and you have an intimate relationship with life and Mother Earth and humanity, then naturally you'll want the best for them, and you won't see it as like it's just me and I've just got to take care and survive myself, and you know, or greed takes hold and we're never satisfied. And you know, there's a famous saying, and it's there's enough for everyone's needs, but not enough for one person's greed. And that's a really powerful saying.
We were talking about hard times create strong men, and about humor and laughter. So mostly we share a good what I was saying. So I was saying about laughter and humor, like we share a good camaraderie and always try to crack jokes and laugh on small things, even something not working in our life. So we laugh on it and, you know, just chill out. We don't take it more seriously. So what do you think about that, and how the mindset has been changed by reading the Hard Times Create Strong Men book, and why, like a lot of people, they should, basically the men, they should read that book?
With the humor, 100%. Like me, when I'm by myself, I'm very serious, and I need the humor. The humor really lifts the mood, lightens the heart, and it's just a beautiful relationship kind of flavor, or in the Vedic Sanskrit we'd call ras. So humor is one of the best medicines, and in some of the most challenging of times, I think humor can just like cut right through to the heart. And you know, it's just such a powerful, globally, universally accepted tool and experience. And in regards to Hard Times Create Strong Men, that's a great book, and it's really fascinating reading it in our small reading groups. And just seeing how we have lived in such a cushioned, easy, comfortable time, and how this easy, comfortable and cushioned time, it has fostered a kind of complacency and weakness. You know, strength comes from adversity, from challenge, from hardship. You know, even materially, like if you're trying to build muscle, you have to put those muscles through hardship. You've got to work them. They have to go through adversity, and then they will respond accordingly. And similarly, hard times can be welcomed with a spiritual foundation and identity, and actually embraced, because they provide you could say the compost for further growth and advancement in one's character and one's spiritual cultivation. And so I would say, if I could leave with something, it would be to know yourself, to know thyself, to really go deep into who am I? What am I? What is this life? What am I doing in life? What do I stand for? What's important and valuable and precious for my heart? So knowing thyself is like the essence and the beginning. And
so I'll give you some Hindi words, so you have to repeat with me. Okay, just for, like, as you said, laughter and fun. So we'll have some fun time. And then
I study a lot of Vedic literature, so I study a lot of Sanskrit. So Hindi is quite close to Sanskrit, so I should.
So I'll say the words and you have to repeat it. I'll tell you the meaning after that. So you have to say, if I have to ask someone, what's your name? So you'll ask, "Aapka naam kya hai?"
Aapka naam kya hai?
So then you will answer, "Mera naam Cam है.
मेरा नाम Cam है.
मेरा नाम ऋषभ है, but so it means like आपका नाम क्या है means what's your name,
Okay.
and मेरा नाम Cam है means my name is Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I'll give you like a tongue twister. Like,
Yeah.
Have you heard about tongue twister?
Yes.
So can you repeat after me? Like,
Okay. I'll give it my best shot.
Yeah. तीतर के दो आगे तीतर. Can you repeat? तीतर
Tita
के
के
दो आगे
दो आगे
तीतर.
Tita.
What I was saying. So I was saying about. Say what's up. It's like what's up means how. What I'm saying? yeah. That's my camera. Okay, we'll say acha. You know meaning of acha?
Acha, no.
Acha means okay.
Okay, yeah.
Like if you ask someone how are you, they say acha hai.
Yeah.
Acha means they're good. Yeah.